Hey, welcome into Dom Time. This is the show each week where we try to break down all the things that are in the news that have captured my attention, hopefully your attention, and we bring on some pundits of one sort or another who are in the center of some of these issues and definitely have opinions on it. Joining me tonight is Ken Dunnick. And Ken, the scandal that I think is the most significant out of the big three is Benghazi, because we have 4 Americans that are dead there. Even over the last few days, we still can't get an answer. Where was the president? Why were people not sent in? And to me, I've had on some of the top national people. They have not been able to get an answer to that. Which one of the 3 are you paying the most attention to?
Well, it's funny that they're kind of emerging here all at the same time, and it's a common theme in this administration that seems to be, I don't know.
Right.
They, if indeed he is the chief executive officer of our country and is the leader, it used to be saying the buck stops here. Well, apparently the buck stops elsewhere in the Obama administration.
Yeah, when the president said that he learned about it through the media and all, that doesn't wash.
It's outrageous.
And it makes you look weak on top of it.
Those statements are outrageous, and you can tell that these scandals have legs, because I think most people would admit that the mainstream media does lean to the left. You've got what has been considered a very liberal news organization is CBS, calling these scandals outrageous, Nixonian. Bob Schieffer called the IRS Dumb and Dumber on his weekend show this week.
Exactly.
So, and then the situation with the Associated Press. I mean, this is an attack on our constitutional rights, our freedom of speech, our ability to speak out against what we don't believe.
Yeah, well, what this is, and other presidents have done it, Nixon is one that you mentioned, it was an attempt to get over the finish line. That's all. And looking back on it, Romney had no chance. I mean, I was shocked that Romney lost by as much as he did. I thought he'd lose, but I thought it'd be within a point or two, a state or two. It wasn't a massacre, but it was pretty close to it. So there was no real shot. So all this piling on and this pushing to get to the line now is coming back to bite him.
Right.
And this isn't going to go away. My prediction would be he's not going to be impeached. We're not going to impeach particularly the first African-American president. You're not going to see that. What we are going to see is his agenda, all this transformation, is going to be stopped. He's going to have to fight all this off.
He's a very charming, charismatic guy. He's got a great family. People want to like him. But my hometown is Chicago, and I was an Illinois resident until I went to college. And I can tell you,
I hear the accent now. I love it.
That if you are, I haven't heard that for a while, but if you're a graduate of that political system,
right,
there is some corruption going on somewhere in your background.
It's thuggery.
Right, it really is. I mean going back to Richard J. Daley, I mean, that's the way that city has always operated in my memory.
Yeah.
So if you come through that system, you carry some of that baggage with you.
Right, and he's brought in Chicago people with him, Axelrod, Rahm Emanuel. Rahm Emanuel's your chief of staff. It's just an outright, even politicians tell me, this guy comes up to you in the shower. You're naked, you're soaping yourself up, and he's threatening you there in the shower in the House of Representatives. I mean, that's how bad it is. Can't have a guy like that as a chief of staff without pushback coming to him.
Yeah, and Daley was involved as in the higher up of the White House. I mean, that Chicago environment has permeated his administration.
What is it about Chicago? I mean, I'm from Philly, and we get the reputation of corruption. I think Chicago is more corrupt, though.
Well, it certainly has the history of being more corrupt. And again, Richard Daley was, from the old school. He used muscle to get things done. There's, Dan Rostenkowski has gone to prison, who was a congressman up in Illinois. And it's just the way things were done back then.
Remember the Untouchables, the Chicago way. He stabs one of yours, you put 2 of his in the hospital.
Yeah, it's really never changed through all these years. It's really never changed.
I didn't know that. Yeah. And you've come out of this unscathed to be a normal guy. I don't know how that
I'm not
happened.
in politics. That's why I'm doing it.
All right. So I think the IRS, too, is the thing, though, with the average person, even though we have death in Benghazi. And what we've seen so far is something that the signal was given from the Obama administration, either directly or indirectly.
Yes.
We want you to go after the Tea Party here and other groups. And some of the stories, Ken, people that we've had on, 68-year-old grandma I talked with, it breaks your heart, just handing out the pocket-sized constitutions. And they asked her for a book report. She sent him a pocket-sized copy of the Constitution.
Yeah. No, I mean, it's outrageous. Again, it's an assault on our Constitution to target a political group for tax purposes. because you don't agree with their philosophy. I mean, it's really against everything this country stands for. And I think this above all, now certainly it's a tragedy about those lives being lost in Benghazi, but losing lives in a faraway land may not hit home as hard as somebody, you know, with the IRS approaching people on their homeland.
Ever been audited? I have not been.
I have not been.
Cross my fingers.
Let's keep it that
destroy
way.
this tape right now. Yes, exactly right. No, just the mere mention of an audit. But the hoops that these people had to go through, I've spoken to a number of Tea Party people, they gave up. They just said, we can't answer all these questions. It's voluminous. We're only a grassroots type of thing here. We're not a big organization to answer all this.
Yeah, you know, I was on Fox News a couple times and met Bill O'Reilly and heard him talking in the green room about the fact that, you know, he had been audited in consecutive years. Now, Bill O'Reilly makes a lot of money. Maybe it's not, you know, the money you and I make probably we don't deserve an audit every year, but maybe Bill O'Reilly does. But it does seem a little bit suspicious that a guy who, with his opinions, has been audited in consecutive years.
Yeah, absolutely. A couple of other stories of interest, a couple of other things that are out there. U.S. Open's coming to town. As I said, we talk about everything from Benghazi to that. I'm going to the practice round. For some reason, we didn't get tickets to the main event. And you got something in the magazine. There's been a lot of stories. People have to realize the jewel we have here with Marion. I mean, there's been incredible history made there, the site of the U.S. Open in a couple weeks.
Yeah, well, I mean, it's a special time for Philadelphia golf. I mean, this is really an area rich in great golf courses.
And yet we don't have any tournament on a yearly basis.
Yeah, that's hard to believe, and I'm really not sure of the reason why. But we do have a story coming up in this issue of the June issue of Jersey Man magazine about a local guy down at the shore who claims he has Bobby Jones' second Calamity Jane putter. Now, I haven't had the story submitted to me yet. That's just the basis of the story, but it'll be interesting to see in this era of golf if that story is really true.
All right, we'll talk about that a little bit more coming up with Ken Dunnick and Dom Giordano, and a couple of other local stories. I know that I've talked about this on my radio show, and it's been incredible, the response that Burlington County apparently has banned smoking in all the parks because a fourth grader wrote them and said they don't like to see adults smoking. We'll talk with Ken about that next here on Dom Time.